Hello, this is Qualms visiting again from the Grimwee side. And today we have a blind box doll. I do not know which one I will be getting. This is from the newly released Lulu Elf Story. Hopefully, it'll still be considered new by the time this video goes out, but who knows? If you pre-ordered them, the main series characters should be coming out. According to Kikagoods, at least for them, they are having delays with things like the special color skeletal wing in white or the two of the four-eared spirits. There's like a pale colored one and a darker colored four-eared spirit. And then there's some pieces like there's a sheep head in a different colorway. So a lot of those slightly different extra or special pieces have been delayed, but the Lulu Elf blind boxes have finally come and they have finally gone out to those who have purchased them. So this is a blind box, so I do not know which doll I'm going to be getting. I do definitely have dolls that I would prefer to get, and then I have one doll I really don't want. My favorites are probably the ones with the darker sort of color schemes. Number one would be Plume Moth, and then either the Ancestor Dragon, which is the hidden one, or Skeletal Wing. Those are both sort of darker colored dolls in terms of like their clothing. I also really like the unicorn. She's in like sort of a pinky style dress that I actually thought was really pretty. Not that excited about the ancient hare fox or the megalotale sheep. And I'm just really hoping I don't get the folivore bear. I know she's supposed to be a bear, but she looks like a cheesy looking mouse to me. So fingers crossed, please don't be the bear. That's all I ask. Looking at the box, there's one thing I thought was really cute about this series. They come with like a little friend, and it definitely reminded me of toys that I used to buy when I was little. My mother would buy for me. They would have oftentimes some kind of little friend. So, like Rainbow Bright had those little puffball friends, right? Or one of my favorite toys that I had were secret keepers. They were like these there was a snail or there was a ladybug or my favorite was the swan, and they actually had a key and you opened them up. They came with a little friend. Or Lady Lovely Locks, she had a bunch of like squirrel friends that you could clip in her hair. So that's it. They come with a little friend, and it gave me a lot of nostalgia for when I used to buy toys as a child. Looking at the picture on the front, this is the Megalotale sheep doll, which is very pretty. Her sort of pastel color scheme is not my favorite, but she's definitely a sweet looking doll. On this side of the box, it just has product information. Looking at the back, this is the hare fox and the Megalotale sheep. They're fine. This is the plume moth, the one I really want to get. The hidden or skeletal wing. I did purchase the special color skeletal wing in white, so maybe I don't want both of them, although twinning could be really cute. The unicorn is here, and then this is the bear that I'm just not that interested in. And then looking at this side, it's more information, this time in Chinese. I noticed that the box doesn't have any sort of authenticity sticker on it, but I wonder if it's supposed to go here. I trust Kikagoods implicitly. Like they have always had excellent customer service, and they've always gone out of their way to help me with everything. So I absolutely believe that this is a legit doll. I just noticed that it doesn't have a sticker here, which I'm assuming it is supposed to. Um, but that might be because of their production issues. Maybe they were just trying to hurry them out the door and didn't have time for their stickers. Okay, let's go ahead and open her up. So I see a light colored doll. Okay. This isn't bad. She was in my top 3. So this is gonna be Skeletal Wing. And like I said, interesting. So I did purchase her in the special color Skeletal Wing in white. So I guess I'll be twinning them on the shelf. It could be cute. She comes with a ton of stuff that fell out of the back. Oh, okay, there we go. I thought for a second she didn't have her character card because almost all BJDs come with some kind of character card. So this card that fell out has the Lulu Elf Story logo on it, and a pastel picture. And then this side has its Instagram and some other kind of QR code for an app. But here is her card. And let me just push things up there. So many. So Skeletal Wing is the name of her character, and it's a pretty illustration. I really like her gothic aesthetic. The black clothing is very cute. On the back, it has a dark image on it, and then also the Lulu Elf Story logos on it. So it's pretty. It's not anything particularly special. It's not like a lenticular or hologram or anything or plastic. We've gotten some really cool looking cards, but it's a solid card. Goes to the corner. So we've got her outfit here. Put that to the side. We've got shoes and shoes and shoes. I wonder if she was supposed to come. I would have to look. This doll may have come with extras when I ordered it. Maybe I should check that. In any case, we got 3 pairs of shoes. We have 2 face pieces, one of them with painting on it and one of them without. We've got an extra pair of eyes, a quite large base. I love when they send me a doll stand so I don't have to order them in packs of 10 off of like Temu. Yeah, so there's a doll base. All the pieces look like they're in there. I'm going to put that off to the side. She's got a big old bag of hands and feet. And then we also have some putty, usually used for eyes, but a lot of the doll brands that are coming out use these to keep accessories on the dolls. So I'm going to just check real quick to see if I was supposed to get extras with this doll. So the doll that I purchased from Kikagoods did have a set of freebies. Those freebies were the extra hands and feet, the white shoes, the brown shoes, 1 special eye, and 1 special made-up face piece and 1 blank face piece. So these, just checking in, yeah. So these are the pieces that you could expect if you order them from Kikagoods and they send you the freebies. So the clothing and the stand are separate. And also these black shoes, they don't appear to be on that freebies list. So those I think must just come with the doll. Let me pop my iPad out of frame there. Okay, looking at the doll herself. Ooh, my vinyl. Love the smell of a fresh doll. Okay, so we got her tail, her headband. So her tail is 1 piece of plastic and looks like maybe it's supposed to go into like a socket or something, I hope. I'm not sure what it's supposed to attach to or how. But it's just a sort of a set of rib cage sort of bones with a bladed tail. On her headband, it is black plastic. It's a little bit rubbery, a little bit flexible. It has the 2 wings. Those wings are not removable, but they're 2 little bat wings. There is a ruffle detail molded into the plastic, and then there's sort of a crisscross pattern on the top of it as well, like sort of like a crisscross stitch pattern. So it doesn't have any magnets in it, so I wonder if the putty isn't going to be used for this. I hope the putty isn't expected to be used for the tail. I'm not sure how that would even work. These are her 2 black shoes that she comes with. These are Little Mary Janes. They're super duper shiny, but they are plastic. They're not actually like a patent leather or something. They have the black sole and the black top. There's a strap that goes over the top, and then there's a molded on bow. Super shiny. In addition to the hands, the open hands that she has, in the box, she has 2 regular hands, and they are closed fists. They're not holding hands, they don't have a hole all the way through. Oh, so they're just little fist hands. The finger sculpt on them is quite pretty. They look long and graceful. I like the way, the thumb is sort of pointed, so I think those are very pretty hands. And then the last thing for the doll herself is we have her little friend. So her little friend has he has a movable tail that looks like a sort of imp tail, long and skinny, and then it has a little heart-shaped spade at the end of it, and it is movable on a little in a circle. Then they have little wings coming out of their head. Those do not move, but they are little bat wings that match the larger doll. She has a bow on top of her head, some little ears to the sides, and a little chibi body. The chibi body has a white X on the front, um, 2 white eyes, a little white bunny mouth, and then the little pink cheeks on her. So she's cute. I like her. Okay, taking out the doll. Okay, she's bagged and she has plastic over her face. I have to crack her open. Oh, wow. It's a lot of it's very secure. There we go. Oh, she's quite pretty. Okay, so before we get back to her hair, we'll just take a look at the doll. She has some like delightfully cute, chubby thighs. Um, Her whole body has sort of a roundness to it. She has a little bit more of a belly than some of the 1/12 size dolls do, a little bit more of a bum in the back, and then she has some pretty sculpts on her legs. So, looking at just her head first, working our way down the body, her eyes are one piece, and we did see that with this spare set of eyes. They look like they're maybe held in with something. Let me slide the head off. The body has an S hook in it, which is pretty typical. I see. Interesting. So it's pretty usual for the body to have an S hook in it, and then the head sort of slides onto some kind of neck adapter piece. This particular one has a built in piece that goes, and I don't think it's removable. No, that holds the eye chips in. And then the eye chips are indented inside, and there is only one orientation for them. So they are one piece with one orientation that's kept in by the neck piece. Probably just need to slide this right back off again to put her clothes on. There we go. Her face is very pretty. It's pastel. I'm trying to see what is in her eyes. I think it's just like little bubbles or waves, maybe. So she has her eyes are a pale lavender color at the top with white reflections in it. And then it goes to almost a very, just barely green cream color at the bottom. And there's some kind of slightly darker swirly pattern in there. And I can't tell if it's actually supposed to be a picture of something. Because when I'm looking at these spare eyes, these eyes have Saturn and moons and orbits inside of them, which is super cool as a design. So I'm not sure if she's intended to have a design in her face, in her eyes. If she is, I can't tell without a little magnifying glass. That's just part of getting old, sadly. She has 2 pale brown eyebrows in sort of a neutral expression. She has dark brown eyelashes, with a some cute little flyaways on the edges that give her sort of a delicate, pretty look to her. She has a little bit of blushing on her cheeks, and then she has a teensy weensy little mouth in brown. Her top, she's not particularly voluptuous, like, for example, the minty gem that I opened in a previous video had an extremely voluptuous chest. But she has a sort of normal chest, and like I said, she has sort of a rounder, curvier shape than some dolls, so she might have difficulty wearing, especially if you were trying to put clothes on her from she's a 1/12 size doll, not a 1/8, but, like, something like a Momo Tails doll is extremely slender, um, or, or like a Sugary Girls, those are, like, more slender dolls. This one's more chunky. So at the top of her knees, they're also a little bit more pronounced than some dolls. At the top of her legs, she has the moving joints where you can rotate the leg for sitting position. She has very large channels for the tops of her legs, so that should make posing her in a sitting position quite easy. She has peanuts in her knees. Those are pretty standard. They do have a little ridge for locking them into a place. And then she has teensy feet, little tiny flat feet, somewhat too small maybe for the doll, but cute. Her arms, nothing special there. They have a little peanut joint in them. And then her hands are just regular open hands. Not as pretty, I think, as some of the other hands that she has in her pack that I saw. Um, but overall, a very solid doll body. Cute. Looking at her hair, it's a sort of lovely, sort of gray, like dove gray, right? Like a morning mist gray. And at the top, it's opaque with it's been spray painted on, um, that sort of dovey gray color with just a hint of lavender in it. It's her bangs are pulled to the side in a little black bow. It's an extra piece that's been added, I think. I don't think it's molded on there and painted. I think it was an added piece. The bottoms of her hair even excuse me, the bangs at the bottom are clear. There's definitely an ombre, and then the bottom of her hair in the back is also clear. And that is just sort of a barely gray colored plastic. So I quite like it. And she has quite an indent in her hair, and I wonder if that's to make room for the, hopefully, it's to make room for the stand. It's always nice when these dolls have longer hair if they make some kind of consolation or, exception so that you can put the actual stand on the doll and it won't interfere with their hair. So the next piece that would come with any of these dolls would be the outfit. Okay. Oh, how pretty. It's quite pretty. So bottom up, she has two white socks. They're a little bit stretchy, and they have a pretty white lace at the top. It's actually quite delicate. It's a pretty scalloped pattern. It's a little hard to see, but it's a pretty scalloped pattern of lace. And then there's some elastic at the top to help it stay up on her leg. And both of those socks are the same length. Then she has, I believe when I looked at the pictures, this is some kind of garter for her leg. So the front part is a shiny faux leather, and then the back is a black elastic to keep it up on her leg. Um, this seems too small for a hair accessory, and she has a hair accessory. Um, so this is a shiny satin ribbon bow, nicely made. And then it has a loop of elastic that goes to one side. And I don't actually know. I should have, maybe I needed to look more at the pictures, but I'm not sure what that's for yet. She's got a cute little pair of pumpkin pants that have elastic at the waist and at the leg holes. And it has just the barest stripe pattern in it, and it's a pretty soft fabric. And then the last piece is this quite pretty dress that she has. So looking at the front, it has sort of a bib shaped piece here that has a black ruffle. And I think it's made of like a chiffon because you can see the lined fabric underneath of it. Glued to that is a silver cross. And then above that, around her neck, is a stiff piece of lace standing up as a collar. She has puffy sleeves. They're a slightly odd shape, to be honest with you. They are puffy above at the top and puffy below at the wrists. I'm not sure what that's actually going to look like on the doll. And it has a, let's see, is it elastic? It is elastic. There's an elastic band inside of the sleeves, and then a black satin ribbon with quite long tails coming off of both of the sleeves. On the front of the dress, which is made of that same fabric that the pumpkin pants are made out of with this slight stripy pattern, there are 3 black chains, and those black chains have little black, let me see if I can slip my hands under there. Yeah, you can kind of see at least 2 of them there. Um, on the chains, they have little black plastic bows, which are such a cute detail and very in scale for the doll. Those are glued on to the chains. No surprise there. But those 3 chains go all the way across the front. And then finishing it off is the same scalloped black lace that they used for the collar. Looking at the back, the dress opens all the way in the back. There are 2 pieces of doll Velcro in there. Um, but what I'm missing seeing on the doll herself or her dress, I'm not seeing any way to attach the tail, unless somehow this piece, but it's just a piece, it's just a ribbon on elastic. I think what I can do is I can put it on her waist and it sticks through this separation. Let me see if I can go ahead. There's a separation in the Velcro, and I think I can slip it around the elastic around her waist on the inside and then the bow sits on the outside. But I'm really perplexed about what I'm supposed to do with this. I don't think it fits in her hair. I am stumped on that one. She doesn't have a hole. There's no, that's a mystery. I'm gonna have to figure out. Real quick, I'll just go over what we got in the freebies. So there's a pair of high heel feet in here, much longer than her other feet. So I'm not sure how they fit in the shoes that well. She's got pointing fingers. She has victory fingers, and she has opened holding hands. I think they're open all the way. Or no, they can hold something if it's very short or if it's like a something that's bendable. The hole that is for holding doesn't go all the way through, but it goes through the fingers, the index finger and the thumb. And then there are heart hands in here as well. The shoes, these are a cream pair of high heel shoes, which assume go with the high heel feet. Um, they're rather plain, but they have just the slightest amount of maybe pearlescence, and they're labeled right and left. And they have just the slightest mold mark here, which delineates what would, I guess, is supposed to be some kind of lace. The brown shoes that she came with are platforms that would be for her flat feet. They are just like brown penny loafers that have some molded decoration across the top, but they have a pretty thick platform. She came with black high heel shoes. These would go with the high heeled feet again. They are like Mary Jane's. They are plain on the top with just a strap going over the foot, and then I think it's supposed to be a little heart molded onto the side of the shoe on both of them. Yeah. There's just like a little hearts, and that's the only decoration on those black high-heeled shoes. Of course, there was the plain head if you wanna be a customizer. I don't know whose face this is supposed to be. It appeared that there was a variety of heads that you could get, so this is just one of them. I'd have to look up to see which one it is. It's obviously not the same faceplate as the doll we got. I'm not sure which faceplate it is. She has very dark black, sort of blunted eyelashes or eyeliner across her eyes with some very pale brown eyelashes over the top that you can't just barely see. Um, it's a pretty, like, subdued one. I'll have to look up and see if I can pick out which one of the dolls this is actually the face for. And then, like I said, these eyes are super cool. Maybe you can zoom in on that. They are black with on top of them are dark, sort of warm gray, they're not circles, they're elliptical orbits. And then on those orbits, the center one, you can see a white Saturn with the rings around it. And then there are two moons. One's like a blue moon, and the other one is a red moon. And each one of those is on its own individual orbits, elliptical orbit pattern. This is very cool eyes. I think these are super neat pattern. Since they are, all animal themed, I'm not sure which one has space eyes. So let's go ahead and get her dressed. Okay. Now I put her together. It's just okay. I thought that looked super strange. Hold on. There we go. Oh, I had her hair too high, and I was like, I didn't remember her having a giant forehead when I looked at her before, but I took her apart so fast. But I had the hair wrong. Little friend to the side over here. But so notable things. I did end up putting a piece of putty underneath of her headband. If you were displaying her upright, you could rest it on her head, but it will not be attached to her head. She doesn't have any magnets or anything, and it doesn't like clip into any like sort of holes. Um, in terms of, she had some weird issues with her hips. They kept wanting to pop out, and then when they did, they kept sucking in the hem of the pumpkin pants. This piece right here was a little difficult to get to stay in one place. I did end up changing her hands. So she doesn't come with closed changing hands, which are like a ball with a peg on them. But she does have she has a really long S hook in her wrist. They're the kind that you pull out, turn, halfway over, and then they sit in a little groove so that you can very carefully dress them. um, the elastic's quite tight in her arms, um, and the tail. So I do think this is what it's supposed to be doing. Uh, Let me just take her. I want to show what it is because it wasn't exactly intuitive. So let me pop her hair off so you can see it better. I did put on the bow with the elastic around it first, um, and then put on the dress, and it does sit between the upper and lower pieces of Velcro, and then I just slipped the tail under that piece of elastic so that, it was pretty loose still around her waist. There was lots of room to slip the tail under. So the tail doesn't have, again, there's no magnets and there's no like place where it clips in. There's no plastic harness or anything. I'm thinking of like the wings that came with the Lulu symphonic series dolls. Those They have wings that clip onto their waists, and those wings have little ball joints that go into that little waist piece. And so there's nothing like that. It just slips under this elastic belt that goes around. She does have, again, quite ample buttocks. I had a little trouble getting her pants on, but just a little bit. So I think the tail is the thing that probably surprised me the most about dressing her. Okay. Yeah, I think the details are really cute on the dress. Let me just So I didn't need very much putty in there, and it's pretty squished flat. It does fit a little better on the back of her head than it does on the front. So overall, I think the body is really cute. I like the face. It has a very soft impression to it. The ombre in the hair that goes from the dove-colored gray to the clear is very cool, and the dress has a lot of really neat details. I really like these chains across the front. They're very delicate, so they are definitely, sized to the doll. They're proportionate to her own tiny 1/12 size, and I like some of the lace, it's quite pretty. So overall, I wish that the extra pieces were, a little bit more secured or had some kind of, like, structural, uh, something structural that kept them on. I'm not a big fan of using putty to stick all of my things on. I'm not sure putty is great for dolls in the long run, but, at this price point, I can't be too picky. So this was the blind box of the Lulu Elf Story, and this particular doll was Skeletal Wing, with their skeletal wing friend. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing. I'm pretty happy with the doll I got. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this in-depth review and are as passionate about dolls as I am, don't forget to like the video. Give it that magical thumbs up. It keeps us motivated and really helps the channel grow. Make sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you won't miss what's next. We have got an incredible number of new BJD and MJD dolls arriving over the next few months. Don't tell my editor, but I've counted up my pre-orders and prepare for well over 30 new dolls. There is a doll for every collector, and hopefully you'll find your dream dolls too. Live it vicariously through my budget, and let's celebrate neurodivergent hyperfixations together. If you're just finding us now, we have got a treasure trove of over 30 doll videos in our back catalog waiting for you to explore. If you also enjoy puzzles and card games, please check out our other playlists. Drop a comment below and let me know which doll line you're most excited about. I love hearing from you, answering any questions, and growing our doll community together.